what clips they'd put there. Yes, here he is. Knicks superfan, and his day job is comedian. Sam Morril joins the show. Okay, we got to start with last season, because you were on the show last season and you were pretty comfortable and confident in saying, you know what, this Knicks team could just run it back. Good title. And they ended up making huge moves in the offseason. So your reaction right away to what they did?
Well, I have a ton of Nova Knicks gear with Dante's face on it, so I guess I can't wear it to the Garden this year. I don't know. That's my first reaction. I love Dante and Julius, so that it the initial hurt as a fan. You're like, man, Julius, he rebuilt the Knicks. He took a chance on us when we whiffed on KD and Kyrie. So I have a lot of love for Randle and Dante is like, I can't think of a more fun 1 year Knick. So I love Dante, but I mean, Cat he fits. He does fit, and Leon has been cooking. So it hurt to lose quickly in RJ too, but OG has been incredible. So I think you just got to trust in Leon.
Yeah, listen, for whatever reason, Cat was never really loved like Anthony Edwards was in Minnesota. As a diehard Knicks fan, do you think you guys will embrace him, his personality? Obviously, his game, I feel like, is going to translate perfectly, but are you going to embrace Karl Anthony Towns this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think he always seemed like kind of a fun dude. I remember he was rocking those Rick and Morty kicks, and I was like, oh, he's like a fun character. I don't know. He's a great player. We will embrace you if you embrace New York. Like, you saw the first thing they wrote to Cat, right? It was like, don't be a bitch. Was that what they said about Cat? Don't be a bitch. If he embraces New York, we embrace him. I mean, it's that simple. I almost stopped myself. I mean, can I say that on FanDuel? I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, you can.
Don't, Chandler. Damn it, Chandler.
Yeah.
No. No. Chandler.
Let her rip, Sam.
I think if he embraces New York, we embrace right back. We love you if you like the city. And it seemed like he wanted to stay in Minnesota. It's a weird trade because it is two really good teams. So it's weird when they just shuffle it around, but I do think it might be good for both teams.
It's interesting to me because Cat always had that reputation of being quote unquote soft, but he was also younger, and he seems to have sort of matured a bit. And I just hope that he doesn't have a little bit of a bad run and then hears it and then just sort of goes from there, because that's my only concern, is that he kind of has a downward spiral if it's too many bad days in a row. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
That would be being a bitch, and that's what we're saying. That's in the right.
And that's what I don't want.
Yeah,
okay,
don't do that.
Don't be a bitch. That's easy.
The way I look at it is, I loved Randle, but also you have to look at what he did for us in the playoffs. And the first year against the Hawks, he kind of fell apart. The year against the Heat, he was hurt. This year he was hurt. So,
yeah,
I remember Lou. Damn it. That was a painful one to be at, that series. Oh, but hey, this is I feel good about this year.
Yeah, Sam. You mentioned Julius Randle, though. I just wanted to ask you, like, what was it that why wasn't he a fan favorite at most of the time or sometimes in New York? Was it on the court? Was it off the court? What was his deal there? Because him leaving, honestly, I feel like he kind of wanted to leave.
Oh, I mean, it was a tough relationship. I think the folding the playoffs is, I think, where the fans turned on him. And I thought he got a bad rap. I don't think it was quite as fair, like when they were ripping apart his, like, whatever that paper thing outside the garden was.
Posters.
Yeah. I didn't like that. That's ugly. I don't like that stuff. But I was also at a game once, and I'm not going to say the comic's name, but I was near her, and she was like, man, I hate Randle. He's like my least favorite. And I'm like, dude, shut the hell up. His son is like 2 seats that way. Stop it. So I liked him for just taking a chance in the city. And I say what you want, like, maybe he didn't make the right play down the stretch sometimes, but he's 25-10, and you can't call that guy soft. So I think New York does love that. I think where he lost us was, not myself included, but he didn't deliver in the playoffs. That's where you got to level up in the playoffs in a big city. And I think Brunson does that. So that's where he lost us, probably.
Oh, we'll get to Brunson. We will definitely get there. First is dad, though, because the return of Dante in the preseason, everyone was super stoked for it. And then there was the smack talk that was going back and forth. At first, I actually thought it was a joke at first, and then I realized, no, he's actually pissed, and he was pissed with Rick Brunson, the father of his best friend. So what did you make of all that?
Well, look at Jalen Brunson. Clearly, he was not raised by a crazy healthy guy. Like, you don't make a warrior like that from a dad who's just like normal. That's a dude who's probably tortured his kid. Brunson goes hard, and it sucked to see, but also here's the way I look at Rick Brunson. We don't have Jalen without him. I don't think we do. So you have to take the good with the bad.
Literally.
And yeah, I mean, on multiple levels, right? Maybe Jalen's not an NBA player. If Jalen Brunson had my dad, he's just not a basketball player.
That's fair.
You need to have a psycho father. Yeah, I mean, he made him into what he is, and he got him to the Knicks, clearly.
You know what's interesting, though, and Lou, like, I when this happened, I was thinking about, like, that annoying-ass AAU dad, though, that would always, like, just say the wrong shit, stick up for his son, even though he was wrong. So, like, that's kind of the dynamic that I felt here, where it's like, dude, you're only a coach because your son's really good at basketball and Knicks want him. So I feel like that is where the beef came from.
Listen, I play with Rick Brunson. He's not all the way there sometimes. he can be a little crazy. Sam, I want to ask you, before Cat, the Knicks traded for MIKAL Bridges, reuniting him with his former teammates, his former Villanova teammates, and Jalen Brunson and the since departed Dante. Are you upset that the Nova boys didn't get their opportunity to shine?
Of course, yeah. I had a Fantastic Four shirt with all their faces on it. I don't know who was Invisible Woman. I think they went with like 2 Mr. Fantastics, but yeah, I was fired up to wear that shirt at the Garden. I love the idea of it. Yeah, I think every fan. I was at a 9/11 like benefit thing, and I ran into Jalen Brunson for a second, and he saw I was wearing a Nova Knicks shirt, and he was like, "I love that shirt." So clearly he wanted it. Like, in theory, we all wanted it in New York, but as I said, you got to trust in Leon. He hasn't steered us wrong one way. Even these draft picks look phenomenal, like Dadier and Kolek. I trust in Leon for sure.
I think we all wanted it, at least just for one season, because it was such a fun sort of movie script story. But alas, but you did get MIKAL Bridges, and a lot has been made of his new shooting form. And as a Knicks fan, like, is there concern? Are we worried? Do we think this will level out?
I think he'll figure it out, because he's a great shooter throughout his career. But like, when you see, why are you changing it the year it's all coming together? Guess what? When I get a Netflix special, I'm not like, time to switch up my delivery. Let me try a new character. You go with the delivery. The guy, I'm not doing like a British accent. I'm like, this will crack him up. No, you do your voice. So when I see that extra hitch, I'm like, what are you doing? His jump shot in Phoenix, he was like 41% from 3. Why are you changing it? Who cares if it looks weird? Sean Marion had a weird looking shot. It went in. So do the shot that works.
I agree, but it doesn't look great too. Is the only thing that's concerning about me. But maybe he'll start knocking him down. Jalen Brunson, he won the city over within 1 year, like I've never seen before. Now the question is, can he be the #1 guy on a championship team? He's got a great supporting cast, so I think that's obviously going to help him with the guys they added. But can he be the #1 option on a championship team?
Absolutely, he can. Chauncey Billups is a Finals MVP. Tony Parker is a Finals MVP. Why can't Jalen Brunson be a Finals MVP? I think when you build around the team properly, that's the thing about Carmelo. I don't think he ever really had the right team around him, and Jalen really does. I mean, these guys. That's the thing. Also, losing Dante in that trash talk they were having with, like, this is what happens when we let you run the team, whatever. Well, clearly they were building around Jalen from the get-go, because we haven't had a guy like him in I don't know how long. And I don't mean to throw shade on any other Knick throughout the last 25 years, but Jalen is a total package. He has got the talent. He's got the killer instinct. He says all the right things. So I think when you have a guy like that who's a leader, Yeah, I mean, putting OG and Bridges, two crazy good wings, and Cat, who's, as good as Randle was, he's kind of a ball stopper. Cat can do everything. He can shoot. He could take it to the rack. It really is just, I think, a matter of time before we figure it out and maybe add one more piece on the bench. Losing Shamet sucked because that guy was looking great in preseason, but we'll see who we add. I wouldn't mind what's his name, Lonnie Walker. I like that kid. I think he's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Lonnie's still out there. Well, let's play
out there.
You talked about Jalen Brunson. The last 25 years. This Knicks team, they're the best team in your opinion since when? What team?
99, when we lost to Michelle Spurs. I think.
I remember that. That was fun.
Yeah, not fun. Yeah. But I think, I thought 2012-13 with Melo, that 54-win team was tough. I think there's a better team. Amari wasn't all the way healthy on that team. Sure, we had Tyson Chandler and Melo, terrific team, but I think losing Chauncey Billups on that team really hurt us because even though he was older, he was like a steady hand. Kid was like 40 and coming off like his third DUI. So I don't know if that was like prime Kid. I love J Kidd, but he was amazing that first half of the year and then it's like kind of fell off a cliff a little bit. I think this is our best team since the Sprewell, Houston, LJ, Marcus Camby Knicks.
All right, so this next question I always find funny because it seems so extreme, but we're sports fans, so we love our teams. We expect, want, hope for championships every single season. If they don't win everything, is it a failure?
No, this team has a nice few-year window. I think that's why you do these moves. That's why they'll hopefully figure out a way to re-sign Bridges, who it seems like once he gets a taste of the Garden too, he's going to be like this. This guy's used to playing in Barclays for 11 fake fans. Those Brooklyn fans aren't real. Maybe there's a couple from Jersey who came over. If you lived in Jersey and then moved to Brooklyn, but it's a lot of hipsters who don't. The fact that Garden wasn't rocking with KD and Kyrie should tell you everything. Not the Barclays, not the Garden. The fact that Barclays wasn't rocking with those guys, come on. So once Bridges feels the Garden, he's going to want to stay. I think OG is my issue right now is can we stay healthy? Because I do think Mitch is a part of the equation. Can he find a way to stay on the court? Because when we play Philly, who got better too, we need Mitchell Robinson on Embiid. We need a guy to wear down Embiid, who by the way, talking about he won't play back-to-backs. I love hearing old heads just shit on him. Just be like, dude, you don't play back. It's your job. It's like, if I work at CVS, I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to work Tuesday and Wednesdays. And they're just like, yeah, you have to. That's when you work,
Job.
So it's a job. So I love hearing guys like Garnett just trash him. It brings my Knicks heart joy to hear, guys like that who are just tough players trash Embiid because I hate Philly.
I agree with you, by the way. I think this Knicks team they have a little bit of a longer runway because they're all young. They're all going into their prime. So I don't think it's a bust at all if they don't win a championship. But where would that rank in the city if they did? Bigger than a Giants Super Bowl? Bigger than the Yankees beating the Dodgers this year in the World Series? Where does a Knicks chip rank?
The Yankees have, 27? At this
point, they got so many. Who cares?
We don't.
They
even
were
need
a long time ago.
And the Giants aren't gonna win a Super Bowl. So I think your only shot would be the Knicks.
God, Daniel Jones. I was so not a fan. It's just so painful to watch. It's he was at the Comedy Cellar one night, and my friend was like, "Do you want to meet him?" And I was like, "No," which I can't imagine saying about any other Giants quarter. I loved Eli so much. No, I don't. This Giants team sucks. But the first Patriots Giants Super Bowl is pretty high up there because we beat an undefeated Patriots team, so that's up there. But I still somehow think the Giants had won in the early '90s. So the Knicks, it's been over 50. Crazy to say over 50 years. There are people who are 50 who are I've never lived through a Knicks championship. So I think that might be one, just because it's this is a basketball city. Think about what people pay for rent to live in this city. You can't walk 3 blocks without seeing a court. So that's real estate in New York. We care about basketball. That's a part of growing up here. So I think that's one. And I think you see how excited we get. I mean, that Randle 4-seed season where the Hawks whooped our butt in the COVID year, that says everything, because we were on fire from just like nothing. It's just like someone who hasn't had sex in like forever and a woman touches your leg and you're like, oh my God, this is crazy. So I don't know. We're pretty hungry for a Knicks championship.
Speaking of